What up,
Yep.
Ken?
Everything's good. How are you?
I'm good. Were you driving?
Yeah, I'm driving to the gym. I'm trying to get, excuse me, I'm trying to get a workout in
Mm.
before I circle back and do all of these. They got us doing a whole bunch of British interviews and ESPN interviews and Zoom calls this morning before we head up the mountain at 11. So I got a hard stop on them at 11 o'clock. They're wanting us to do interviews till like 12, but I said it's a hard stop at 11. We're done. Call Bud and try to get him to talk to you.
All right. Um, so I watched the Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Like I texted you, man. I thought they did a phenomenal job highlighting you, and I was telling my audience a few people. You know, I love what they did with Bernard, aka Bernie the Boxer. You know, I love that they went back in the amateur times, and I wanted to ask specifically when they show you being interviewed. You look so young. Not to say that you don't look young, 'cause I told you this in Mexico, you look young, but I mean, whoa, you were so young. So I wanted to know if you remember exactly how old were you in that specific interview with the heavyset man.
40.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, so damn, 40. So how old are you now? If you don't mind.
60.
Oh, wow. Yeah, my dad's about 65. Wow, wow.
64. I could be 68. Take your pick, dude. I could be
Nah,
69.
you can't be that old. You look too good for that, man. Physically,
Maybe almost
you know.
70.
So,
That's the beauty of it all, man. No alcohol, no drugs, no, never tried, never experimented, never, you know what I mean? I live the life that I love and I love the life that I live. God bless me. I'm thankful. I'm humbled. I'm appreciative because I'm not even supposed to be here. Forget about boxing. I'm not supposed to be alive just from the things that went on around me, you know, and so many people. Before I got out of the seventh grade, I buried or went to at least a half a dozen funerals of close family members and friends.
well, amen to that, man. You know,
Amen.
you're doing fantastic in and out the ring, man. Like you said, you know, you ain't supposed to be here, so
Nope.
you're definitely an inspiration to many fathers out there that are training their sons. You know, I'm sure you were an inspiration to Bill Haney, who started with Devin Haney, and you know Devin very young, man. I got sparring with Sean and Devin maybe 7 years ago, so yeah, man, congratulations on all your achievements. But it's like I was telling my audience, you know, I don't want Sean to go down in history as the guy that just fought everybody. What I want for Sean meeting you guys so many years ago in that dark BB King's club show is to see him, you know, get this win because it would mean so much, not only to me, but to him, because I'm conceited. I wanted to mean something to me too. Nah, man, you know, I don't want him to be the guy that almost or is good enough, you know? And I hear, I don't know if it's the way they're putting this episode together or the way that Sean has decided to promote this fight. He just sounds different. And he's making me believe, but I'm a sucker for an underdog. I don't know if you know, Vegas has him as an underdog, a big underdog. But he sounds like he really believes he can beat Terrence Crawford.
Of course he does. Of course he believes that, not just that he sounds that way. Of course he believes that. And as far as your memory about the BB King, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I value that night that we met, that first time that we had those conversations. I value that just as much as I value all the things that have made me successful. So it's great to be able to talk to you this many years later and still have that relationship. But yes, Sean does believe that. I believe in Sean. Everybody that's with us believes in him. You know, this camp has not been the best in terms of sparring the best guys for extended periods of time, we've had to use a lot of different guys. But I look at that and I offset it by saying Terrence can't find no Sean Porter to spar with either. So we've had some good guys. We just haven't had these good guys for extended periods of times, like, kept them for 2 or 3 weeks. But we have had some really good guys, so we're prepared.
As a trainer, what do you think is the most difficult thing to prepare for Terrence Crawford?
ESPN asked me that type of question. Three different interviewers asked me that same type of question. I'm gonna give it to you the same way. It's not one specific thing that stands out with me with Terrence, other than the fact that he's a southpaw, or he can switch to being a southpaw. That stands out, and that's a somewhat hard thing for people to prepare for. But I mean, go back and look at Sean's resume. We've fought arguably one of the best, if not the best, southpaws in boxing, and we've been right there with him the whole way. So there's not one specific thing that stands out, but if preparation for a southpaw is needed, we've had it. We fought that southpaw, and there's other southpaws early on in Sean's career that he got wins over.
Do you expect Crawford to come out straight up southpaw? Because it seems like when he goes for the kill or when it gets a little hot, he resorts to southpaw. Are you expecting him to open up with that style, or do you foresee the possibility of orthodox?
There's a great possibility he comes out orthodox and then he switches. And if he switches, we're going to get him when he switches. That's one of my ways of dealing with guys that switch. Most times when guys switch, they're not comfortable in that very moment that they switch. Takes them a minute, maybe not a minute, some of them sooner, but takes a few seconds for them to switch and get comfortable and throw the combinations that they want to throw. Most of our camp, I would say 85% of our camp, we had a great, I don't know how many times I can say it. We had a great boxer in Hendry Cedeno Martinez who was able to switch seamlessly. He is not Terrence Crawford. By no stretch of the imagination am I saying he's Terrence Crawford. But this kid can switch seamlessly, unbelievably smooth at going from lefty to righty or righty to lefty. So we had that. It was just only a week ago that he needed to return home for some serious family situation, which, he's just becoming a father. So he had to go home.
All right. So did you watch the episode, and what did you think of it?
Actually, I have not watched the episode. You sent it to me this morning, and that's when I decided to start watching a little bit of it. But as I was starting to watch a little bit of it, I noticed that you had this show going on. So then I had to stop and then, give you guys my attention because I wanted to hear what you had to say about it and then be prepared to come on your show this morning. So,
okay.
I
enjoyed it.
I saw some clips.
I did really enjoy it, and I do like the fact that they're at least going above and beyond. Well, not above and beyond, but they're doing more than they normally have with this 2-week pre-fight hype. How are you, how can you assess the level of promotion? Do you feel like they're treating it like a big fight? Would you have wanted more? Are you satisfied? Have they exceeded your expectations with the amount of promotion and publicity that they have set up for you?
Actually, again, because I haven't watched it, I don't know how much they've actually done in terms of what you guys are seeing, in terms of what they've asked of us, and how much they've put into it that I can see behind the scenes. they've gone above and pretty much beyond. I had a semi truck in front of my house last week. A semi, an 18-wheeler, with a whole entire crew coming out of it with lights and cameras and everything.
Wow.
They've come with another week. They came and they shot what they called a movie trailer. They had, I counted, that day I counted, they had 12 people working on set. So yeah, they've put a lot into it. I can't tell you what you guys have seen, if that's translating into you guys saying, oh wow, look at what they've done. I don't know from that standpoint, but from the standpoint of what I've seen behind the scenes, yes, they've gone above and beyond.
Now, Mark Kriegel and just the buildup for this fight, they're billing it. I mean, the official build is it's on, but it's also being billed as Terrence Crawford's toughest opponent till date. Do you believe that? And what do you think is different about all the other? Well, not all the other guys. How is Porter different from Terrence's previous opponents?
Well, there is nobody else in boxing like Sean. There's nobody in the welterweight division like Sean. So anybody that fights Sean has got some different things to deal with that they don't normally get in other fighters. Most of the time, in the other fighters, you're going to get a tall guy using a jab, or you're going to get, a tall guy that's a puncher, or you're going to get a guy that's boxing and moving around. But in Sean, you're not getting that. You're getting a shorter, compact fighter that can move in, that can move out, that can pressure you, that can move laterally, that's quick, that's tenacious. I mean, there's a lot of different things that are not what you normally prepare for and see. Probably the only thing that he's not doing is he ain't switching to southpaw, which he can do. We just don't do it.
So it showed that you guys, probably moved to Vegas over 12 years ago, right?
No. We came to the West Coast, which we were first in Cali in 2010. And then we got over to Vegas and at the end of 2012.
Okay. So, that being said, how much do you consider, look into, think about the betting lines, the odds makers, the bookies, the underdog,
Never
the
have.
favorite?
Don't even understand it. Never have. Don't understand it. I was going to ask you what it means, but I know underdog means we can win money. But other than that, no, I don't look at it. What I get back if I put 10 grand down?
On Sean? 10 grand.
Who the hell else I'm going to bet? What kind of shit is that?
No,
Who else I'm going to bet on?
No, I'm just saying on Sean is going to be a lot of money because he's the underdog. I'm not.
Okay, so what I'm going to get back?
If you use my bookie, which is who I'm affiliated with, they're actually giving you plus 505, 10 grand. Lord have mercy. That's going to be so much money. It's like, I don't know what we got here. 50,000 plus your $50,000 and 500 plus your 10,000 back. Remember to use the code BETTBV. All right, BETTBV if you're going to do that. But
hey, and may I ask you this question?
Mm-hmm.
If I do that, am I going to mess up the betting line?
I'm sure I'm sure, yeah. 10,000 is a big bet, but I don't know how much it'll go down. But yeah, they do go down. Like Rosado opened up as a plus 600, and right now he's a plus 33, plus 375. So as the fight gets closer, more people believe in you. They start betting on you, and it changes the line. So yeah, your 10,000 would change the line for sure.
Yeah, because there's been times I've had to have people run all around Vegas to go to different places because they wouldn't let us, do things.
Yeah, I've heard rumors like that about Floyd having difficulties or sending multiple people to bet on him.
Yeah, I deal with the same people.
There you go.
Yeah, so that ten sound like a good starter for me.
Yeah, sure is.
Good
Honey,
starter. I
you
have to.
already know 100,000 gonna be half a milli,
Woo-hoo!
right? Wow, that's a lot of money. But anyway,
Damn.
so let's talk about the knockout, right? Because that's what's getting the most, I guess, headlines. And at the same time, it's become an internet debate, right? Because it's like, how is Porter saying he's gonna knock out Crawford when he didn't knock out Formella, or he didn't knock out this guy, or he's just not known as a puncher? But as his dad, you've been with him in the amateurs. I mean, he's dropped guys like Daniel Jacobs. Somehow he got wins over Usyk. Like, why is your son not a puncher? Do you think it's because he was so heavy in the amateurs and he's holding that weight back, so he's losing some of that power? Or do you think it's just punch placement and, he could land the right shot and knock out a Terrence Crawford?
I think it's the latter. The first thing that you said, we knew coming down in weight that we would lose punching power, but the trade-off is what you see now. Fights against Terrence Crawford, fights against Danny Garcia, fights against Errol Spence. We knew going to that division that that's where we were going to be. So certain people in certain places, we had conversations a long time ago, and those conversations just said, hey, we're going to make a move on this division. It's going to be big, and there's going to be what you want, the money and the big fights are going to be here. And so we did what it took to make that change and change his body, not just go go on a diet, but change his body structure. And so we over a number of years. If you go back and look at his box rec, you will see he went down each fight 1 pound, 1 pound, 1 pound, 1 pound until we got to 47. So yeah, moving down to 47, he definitely loses some power. But your trade-off is 7-figure fights. Your trade-off is pay-per-views. Your trade-off is being in the division, the hottest division in boxing. That's your trade-off. So if I came to you right now and I say, hey, you got a fighter, and I'm talking to you, you got a fighter fighting at 160 pounds in the amateurs who's never been on a diet before. He just fought there. And I said, but, when you turn pro, you think you can make 54? Okay, I can make 54. That's only 6 pounds, right? But hey, in a few years, we're going to have this division that's going to be super hot. It's going to have these guys in it, and you're going to be able to, go for these championships and make this type of money and even get to pay-per-view fights. Can you come down and wait? You're going to make that adjustment to do that, just like Danny Garcia made the adjustment coming up, or just like Terrence Crawford now has made the adjustment coming up. Terrence Crawford, most of his career was at 135.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he had to make an adjustment. He didn't just go from 135, I'm a 147-pound fighter. He never did that. He made a conscious decision. They, as a team, and then also Top Rank, as a promotional company, made a conscious decision to say, hey, we're going to go to that division so that we can get him in these big fights against those guys in that division. And as far as, Terrence, not to take anything away from Terrence, but, if I'm the matchmaker and I'm moving you up in weight, I'm never going to put you in there with anybody that makes you look bad. I got to put you in there with people that are going to make you look good. So you look spectacular going up to this new weight class.
And look, I was of that mindset, Ken, which is crazy, right? As these fights get closer, whether you convince yourself a guy can do something or that the other guy is good, and I've been a victim of not valuing Crawford's resume and the people that he's been in there with, in the sense, like, I respect everything they've done and what he's done. I'm just saying those guys aren't Sean Porter. Those guys were never the best guys, in my opinion. You know, Ndango and Delorme and, you know, that just wasn't it for me. But now that the fight is here, he still does what he does very well, and he is on a knockout streak. Does that worry you? Do you consider the power?
Let me say this. Let me say this. In terms of, am I worried? No. Is he a bigger, stronger fighter on fight night than Errol Spence, who's 175 pounds? No. Harder puncher, one punch type guy.
Ooh, Ken, I think you're breaking up. You might have got to a spot that is no bueno.
Yeah, he look a little froze up on the screen, man.
Oh, he came on camera? I didn't even know. That's probably what happened, Ken. Go back to no cam. Who is this? I think he trying to call. No, you gotta just click the link, Ken.
Yeah. But yeah, lots of good questions.
Why is he trying to call? I told.
What's he trying to call in?
No,
the other way?
I think that was Cameron Duncan trying to call. What is that over there?
All right, it looks like he left out and is gonna call back in.
Yeah, nah, he went to the wrong Skype. That's what it is. He calling a back call Skype. I got Cameron coming on too, so, you know, feel free to show me a little bit of love. You know, help me to keep the lights on. Just a little bit of love. You know, all I did was, you know, get Ken Porter on, and I'm gonna try and get Cameron Duncan on, who's available, and he's the promoter of Boots Ennis, who everybody loves. I'm just, you know, just a little bit of love. But while we get Ken back, we're gonna go to these callers, open it up. And shit, I don't even know what to do now. Because if he's not going to come on, maybe I should go straight into that Kamran.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by Big Rigs Trucking Agency, experts for all your insurance and trucking needs. For quotes and consultations, visit us at brtagency.com or contact us at 908-943-6918.
All right. Hawking them down. What up?
Yo, good morning, Ness.
Morning.
Adrian.
Good morning.
All right, y'all just talk about the upcoming bouts, the Porters, and I did see that Blood, Sweat, and Tears though. That was good. Damn, Ness. You know you my guy, man, but I just don't think Rosario is going to win that fight, bro. I got him getting stopped. Actually, Magia is such an awkward fighter, and so is Rosario. They're both very awkward, but Magia has a nice jab, and he's in a position to land his second punch a lot more than when Rosario throws his punches. It's more like Rosario kind of waits to set a person up when Magia kind of comes forward with his setup, and he kind of forces his issue more for me. I don't know how long. I don't got to be in quick. I got to be in some rounds, but I just think Magia going to get to him. And I still think Terrence Crawford is going to get to Porter because Terrence Crawford has a better I'm not a Crawford fan. I'm more of a Porter fan, but Crawford has a better
position, because in boxing it's about angles and positioning when you're in the ring, and Crawford is always in position when he throws his jab to land his right hand.
All right, let me just text Ken and say I'm gonna go ahead and get Cameron on because I know he has some 11 o'clock stuff. He said right, and right now it's 11 over here, so that means oh shit, what is it over there? Is it 6 over there? No, 7 over there. Wow, shout out to Ken, nice and early for us. Let me just have Cameron. Hey.
Oh, there's Ken.
Oh, Ken's back?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Ken, what up?
What did I miss?
Nothing, just we went to a caller in the meantime. We didn't know whether or not your internet was going to come back.
What was the last thing?
We were talking power because obviously the biggest thing getting the
Right.
headlines
What was the last thing you heard me say, though?
You had explained to us about how you guys had moved down in the weight, sacrificing the power for the bigger fights, yes. And the way you built him down gradually.
Right. Good morning, by the way. What's your name?
My name's Adrian.
How you doing, Adrian?
I'm doing well.
Good. Nice to meet you. Yeah. So as I was kind of posing the question to you, Ness, if you had that opportunity and
I would take
you put yourself in a position to fight in that division where there's pay-per-view fights, some of the hottest fighters that are there. And at the time when I was in those meetings, Errol Spence wasn't even up at that level yet, but we knew what was going on because we already had a Pacquiao there. We already had some of the other fights going on that we.
Internet.
Yeah, wait. Yes, you would, but that's what we had to sacrifice to be here. So. Yeah, he did lose. He did lose some muscle mass that created more power for him. But I don't worry about that. Punch placement would help a lot more. You're right. You're correct about that. He's just not the guy that I can get to, constantly stay on that path of, zeroing in. I talk to him all the time about, hey man, I need the solar plex. I need the liver. I need the chin. I need the shot on the ear, and he's more of a aggressive guy that is going to just get to you and throw these punches than he is a guy that's going to sit back and pick his punches.
So the producer's telling me that we actually left off on you letting us know or you telling us you're not afraid of Crawford's power. No. Again, like I said, he's not a bigger, stronger guy than Errol Spence on fight night, who was 175 plus pounds on fight night. He's not a. Now, how sure are you of that, though? Like, I get it. That's the logic I'm using. This guy started at a smaller division. How could he be strong? But
I'm simply saying that he's okay. Let's say he's not a bigger guy than Errol Spence on fight night. I highly doubt, I could be wrong, but I've been doing this is my 32nd year. I could be wrong, but I highly doubt that on fight night, he's going to be stronger than Errol Spence. I just don't believe that. But if that's the case, if he's stronger than Errol, okay, we'll have to deal with that. That's why they call it boxing. Once we see that he's stronger, then we're going to change our strategy. But I doubt that that's going to be a problem. I highly doubt that he's going to one punch crank a no-look left hook like Danny Garcia and tear your head off. I don't believe he's going to do that. But if he does, we've got an adjustment to that, right? We've got to make an adjustment.
Right hook, though. He does it with the right. He put Benavidez out like in the last minute of the round with It looked like Shane Mosley Margarito on the ropes.
And again, that's our job. We have to adjust to that. We've been working to prepare to defend that in the camp. Let me flip back to a little clip I saw when it's going to be constantly built up and made out to be more than it actually is, and they're only going to use that clip because that's what creates the drama. When you made reference to, you're going to have to stop doing things the way you want to do them and do them the way. Excuse me?
I did reference that. It sounded weird to me.
Yeah, but here it is. He had his hands down. He's getting caught with a hook. It's pissing me off. I've seen it too many times. And what I'm saying to him is this. You have just made a conscious decision to put your hands down and fight a man and challenge a man that's on an elite level to a fight. That was his decision. You understand what I'm trying to say now?
Mm-hmm.
That was, okay, come on, let's go. Right? No, you can't do that. You got to do what I'm telling you to do, which is this. So if you only give that little clip of me going at him, it appears like, oh, Ken's going crazy on this guy right now and yelling at him, telling him he got to do it his way or no way of the highway. Well, what's the other way? Put him down, get hit, get knocked out. Right? That's it. But no, they don't show the lead up to that, which is what was going on right there, which is what I'm saying is I have a fighter that has a tendency to sometimes to just say, put his hands down and challenge a guy. And I'm saying, no, you can't do that. And what I'm telling you to do is basic fundamentals. Hands up, chin down, elbows in, knees bent, body on an angle. Protect yourself at all times.
So you spoke about it, which, damn, because you mentioned hook, and he's getting caught with the hook in sparring, and Crawford has a good right hook.
I'm saying.
And then Sean has been dropped late with the hook by Broner in the 11th, and then freaking Earl in the 12th, right? Or am I wrong with that? No, the numbers, the rounds. No, you don't remember?
I think Earl was in 11th.
I'll look it up.
I think Earl was in 11th, and I think it laid Sean flat out on his face. He was asleep, right? That's what happened.
Porter down in the 12th with Broner, and with Earl the 11th. So I had it backwards.
I don't know. Your son got up from that knockdown in the Earl fight, ready for war, bro.
No. This is what I'm saying. He was laid out flat on his face, right?
No, but it don't matter. The points, Ken. We can't afford the points. Look, it cost us the Earl fight. Many people thought at the time of the knockdown, Porter was winning. That knockdown fucked it up. It was over.
No, it didn't.
So what happened?
No, let me tell you. From my standpoint, yes. Maybe from yours, yes. But the judges didn't have it scored that way. So even if we had went through that round, what your eyes were seeing was not what was on the scorecards, I get that part of it.
Yes.
That no, we can't afford it and we don't want that. And the conversation I had with him yesterday and also with Barry Hunter yesterday, you're getting that inside shit right now, Ness. Yesterday was, we told you going into that 11th round, get your hands up, get on the phone, cell phone, get on the phone. We told you that, right? We told you that, Sean, yesterday. We said this. We had this conversation with him yesterday. I said, we told you that. And you chose to go out there and be lax. And you can't do that in this fight. So we're on him about that. It is conscious in our minds to constantly stay on top of him about those type of things. But at the end of the day, once the bell rings, it's got to be up to him to be conscious to say, I'm going to put my hands up right here instead of, oh, it's showtime. Let me put my hands down and let these punches fly.
Since you used the term breaking news or inside scoop, I would love to know, because this was supposed to be a mandatory challenge. that went to purse bid, which per the rules means no rematch clauses. But because you guys came to an agreement, I'm just wondering, did Top Rank slide in a rematch for Crawford if he loses?
Nope.
What?
But you got to understand that you don't understand, Ness.
What?
I had this conversation with Sean yesterday, too. Here's what you don't understand. More inside information. Boxing, unlike football, basketball, baseball, hockey, there's no national governing body. That means one overseeing entity over the entire sport. There's no players representation or athlete representation. There is no players union or athlete union, right? So, depending upon what state you're in, what commission you're dealing with, the rules get changed to benefit the powers that be all the time, every day. So there'll be a time on fight week when somebody's going to come and try to present a contract to me that's probably going to say, hey, if your guy beats our guy, you have to do this. And that's a decision we'll have to make at that time. But because there's no national governing body, no president, no union, there'll be nobody for us to turn to that says, hey, you can't make him sign this contract the week of the fight to do something that he had never agreed to from the start.
So fight contracts are signed, though.
They get signed
the week of.
Fight week.
Exactly. No, I know. I remember years ago, I brought this up and people laughed at me. I try to tell people sometimes you get a whole fight and the dudes don't sign until the day before the fight. But now you're clarifying that on the highest level.
Right. And because the people that are in place and in power want to be able to control the situation.
Now, you're with Al, though. Why would Al allow you? I mean, isn't that the guy you turn to and say, hey, look at what they're presenting us on fight night? Isn't he the one to comb it over?
Let me back that up, and I'm not discussing the people that you just brought up. I'm not discussing them because I don't discuss him. But let me turn that back to you. It's fight week. You got a $5 million deal on the table. You've trained.
Whoa. Let me back that up. They said $4 million. So you're saying Sean's getting $5 million guaranteed. All right. Thank you for that. Keep going.
Nah. Anyway, I'm talking to you, Ness. You know
we live right now, so it's like you're talking to me.
We live, baby. We live.
$5 million.
Live,
all
baby.
Right. That's worth it.
Again, you got that deal, and somebody brings you a contract, and it has some things in it that you didn't expect. Do you shut the whole deal down and say, I'm not going to fight? All the people that bought tickets are not going to see it. People that bought pay-per-views are not going to watch it. I'm out. I'm pulling out of the fight. Do you do that?
I mean, you're going to say no, you don't do that. But at the same time, why would you allow yourself to be strong-armed into a situation?
You missed everything I said from the start because I know you heard me. This is a business, and this is the way this business works. This is the way this business works. Mm-hmm. You said it that you spoke on other shows. Previously, you said that you've known that guys didn't get their contracts until almost the day of.
Mm-hmm. I got laughed at. I'm glad you said that right now. And it's a pay-per-view. People don't be believing the things that happen in boxing. I'm telling you.
Yes, it is a pay-per-view, and we have not signed a contract.
Crazy.
Right.
But I mean, look, that's also good though. That means that this business is based on handshakes and you know, trust, I guess, in a sense. No? Well, I do want to ask you.
I don't trust this business.
I do want to change the topic slightly. It's still about you specifically, more specific. Anthony Joshua came to America seeking possible new trainer relationships. He stopped at Ronnie Shields, Robert Garcia, and Eddie Reynoso. One of my listeners, Mr. PBC from Seattle, wants to know if he stopped in your gym, would you entertain training Anthony Joshua? And what do you believe you think you can do for Anthony Joshua?
Would I entertain it? I'd entertain it from a standpoint of it's business, and that's a business opportunity for me. If I have an opportunity to buy more property, if I have an opportunity to invest in something, if I have an opportunity to be a part of something that's great, yes, I entertain it. As far as a boxer, I met Joshua in 2012 in the World Championships. Quiet guy, nice guy. And he didn't have a lot of boxing experience, but he made it to the gold medal round of the World Championships. He should have got the gold, didn't get it because we were in Azerbaijan. So guess who he lost to? Who at that time had put up $1 million for a medal, any medal they could get in that tournament. They had put up $1 million. It's an oil country. And this wasn't reported by us. This was reported by CNN at the time. But he's a nice guy. So he's a nice kid. I met him a few more times since then. So I definitely would entertain it. Each individual in boxing, each individual you come in contact with is different. Some are tall, some are short, some are strong, some are right-handed, some mostly are orthodox boxers. You're going to have, left-handers. It'll come down to a personality fit with me. If my personality and his personality can mesh and work together. For me, I do things differently than most trainers. I try to learn the boxer. I study him and learn what he already knows. And I spend a lot of time, or would spend a lot of time, learning him before teaching him. I would never try to change him. If there's an outstanding flaw that we see, whatever that might be, let's say he don't take good body punches. He don't react well when he takes good body punches. And we work on strengthening his abdominal area. We work on better defense in that area. We work on him being able to, sustain punches in that area with different exercises. I'm just using that as an example of what could be done, what stands out with him in the last fight against Usyk. He's up against a difficult style, a left-hander.
But you face that style. Shouldn't you DM him like Andy and get that opportunity? I mean, you've been there with Sean, and somehow y'all got a win over who's now a heavyweight champ, unified, and a cruiserweight champ, undisputed. Or do you think that's too long ago?
No, I don't think that at all. Funny story about Usyk. The fight was a great fight. It was a close fight. They were giving us the scores in the corner. I knew what I needed Sean to do in that last round. and he was prepared to do that, and he did it, and he pulled out the victory. But after Alexander had moved up to cruiser in the Olympics, and had won a gold medal, I was in Ukraine, and I was in the Ukraine. I took Errol Spence to the Ukraine. I was the head coach, and they had this big dinner. They had this big, conference where they had, all the dignitaries, the presidents, the political people, and they brought Alexander in, and they brought all the Ukrainian team in, and they were really dominant at that time. And he had his gold medal, and they had us standing up there with these guys, and Errol hadn't been to the Olympics yet, so nobody knew who he was, and there was nobody on our team that anybody knew on a high level. None of the guys returned from the previous Olympics, so they were talking about how great a team they had, how many medals they won. Alexander is the best fighter ever, and so on and so forth. And I had a translator with me, and it just pissed me off. And I said, "You tell them that my son beat him." And the translator, who was from Ukraine, said, "No, I can't say that." And I said, "No, you tell them that my son beat him."
Sorry.
What we got?
Box Rec in their ads.
Yeah. And then again, he said, "No, I can't do that, sir. I can't do that." I had this college student from the Ukraine who was my interpreter and translator. And I said, "No, you tell them." So they looked over to the side, and Alexander looked at me, and he pointed, and I pointed back. And so he wouldn't say it, so I yelled it out. I said, "My son beat him." Right? And so the dignitaries and the president and everything, they said, they're looking around, they're like, "What is he saying? What is he saying?" So the translator had to say it reluctantly. He didn't want to say it, but he said, "He says that his son beat Usyk." And everybody starts to laugh. And I said, "Tell him again, tell him." I was pissed. I was mad. I said, "Tell him again." Because they're making fun of our entire team, and we had nobody who had medaled or no one who had any big, experience on any level with us. And so I just, I had to stand up for us. And so I said, "Tell him again." So he said it again. And then Alexander says, "Yes, his son beat me." And all the laughter stopped. As far as Joshua's concerned, those type of situations for me, I prefer not to be in those situations where you got some guy that wants to come to you from another situation that didn't work out for him, and it's a quick fix situation.
But
I'd rather be in a situation.
This would be his first true trainer change. He's always stood with McCracken.
No, I'm not disputing that. I just mean, like, if you're looking for this quick fix, if you're looking for that, I mean, what I would want to do with him is I would want to get a couple of fights with him and not be so high profile. Get some time to work with him and understand the way he boxes and what makes him successful, because obviously he's done things to this point that made him successful. So you got a lot to learn. You got a lot of time that you need to spend just learning him. I'll use my kid from the DR, Henry Cedeno Martinez. I've spent more time learning him than I've spent time teaching him, because he already knows how to box. He's ultra talented. He's not just talented, he's ultra talented, right? But people haven't seen him on the biggest stage yet, because I'm still learning him, and we're taking these baby steps to get him to where he needs to be. So you got to learn the athlete. The guys that, this is no knock against any other trainer, but the trainers that want to take you into the gym and pop, and do all this kind of stuff, What did you just learn about your fighter? You couldn't have learned anything about him, because now you're showing him something that you know, instead of allowing him to show you the things that he knows. So he's obviously done things to be successful to get to this point, or he wouldn't be here. So you got a lot to learn. You got to spend a lot of time just watching and learning him, right? So, you know, that quick fix stuff, is not gonna work. You know, I got guys that come
and
to
that
me.
Can't be done from you watching tape. Like, if you want to make it work, can just, you know, go get in front of the computer and watch hours and hours of tape.
Yeah, you're gonna learn things there. You're definitely gonna learn things there. No doubt about that. You're gonna learn things there. But again, you got to build a relationship with the guy at the same time. You know, so I'll give you another example of one thing that's going on with.
Really quick, because I want to stay on Joshua. I got same listener, Mr. PBC wants to know: would you be able to toughen him and bring out the dog? Because AJ, that's what he's looking for, and that's based off his interview. You know, he said he's a dog. He just wants someone to help it bring him out of him or something like that. And obviously the way that you train Porter, Sean, what we get to see anyway, we see, you know, like you said, you feel is a misrepresentation of your relationship, but what we see is tough love, and it's been resulting in good results, right?
I got no problem with the tough love aspect of them presenting that. I got no problem with that at all. That's fine. But I mean, if you just take a clip of one moment and you don't show what led up to that moment, you know. But anyway.
Can you bring a dog out of him?
It's got to be in you. If you got it in you, if me and Anthony was, if me and AJ had a conversation, if he and I had a conversation, and he said, I got a dog in me, I just need somebody to bring it out. And I want you to do it. If you're giving me carte blanche, if you saying I got no speed limit, I can put my foot on this gas pedal and go as fast as I want to go, and as hard as I want to go, and this is what you're signing up for, and you're paying for it, right? Then yes, we'll find out. And I'll press you to that limit, and we'll find out. And I have the ability to press you to that limit. I have that ability. And if you respond accordingly and you are the dog that you say you are, then we can get somewhere, we can be successful, right? I think he's, you know, a really good boxer, and he has all these abilities and size and speed and power and, you know, things like that. But if that's the thing that he thinks he's lacking, and he's looking for that from certain people, I don't know everybody that he interviewed with. But yeah, go ahead. Reach out to Anthony.
So, you know Plant pretty long, being in Vegas. Obviously, you know, you used them for sparring for this fight. Were you expecting the knockout from Canelo? I swore Plant was going to last the distance, man.
I have to be careful with things I say about people that I have relationships with, you know, and how I feel about them. But I just felt truly, because of his inexperience against high-level competition, that he would not be able to handle the second half of this fight and make it through it because of the competition, the lack of competition. This is no indictment of him as a person or his boxing ability. But if you go back and look at Canelo, I don't know how many championship rounds he's got, but I'm 100% sure it's over 100 championship rounds. championship fights. So the rounds has got to be easily up in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, he got 490 rounds boxed.
Yeah, and if you're looking at BoxRec, just go ahead and look at from the time he fought Mayweather to where he's at now. Tell me how many rounds. And of course, all those fights didn't go the distance. But tell me how many rounds he got. I bet you that guy's got 100 rounds. I just felt that you look at the other guy. Mike Lee was a collegiate boxer. Collegiate boxers in the amateurs, the collegiate boxers were not even allowed to compete in our local tournaments. They were that bad. They were not allowed. They could not sign up for a local Golden Gloves tournament. That's Mike Lee. Fighting Butts, his name says it all. Maybe I didn't say it right. Did I say it wrong?
Nah.
Okay.
No, it's just hilarious. It's hilarious to hear the same criticism from the callers coming from you, because those are the things that they would say, man.
The Caleb Truexes of the world. Nothing against him, but he's not the upper echelon, top level guys in the division. The guy that fought Darrell, what's his name?
Darrell.
Yeah, they both.
You talking about Yeardom? No.
No, he fought Andre Darrell. The same guy Caleb fought. Akabuchi, Kabazi. Caleb just fought him in the last 2 years.
In the last
him and both Andre Darrell. Andre Darrell.
Uztategi.
The same guy that Darrell's uncle punched.
Yeah, Uztategi.
Jose. Guy. Right. Those guys are nowhere near. They can't come into. They're not in a conversation with the guys that Canelo has fought. Those guys aren't in a conversation. You can't put them in a conversation with the guys that Canelo has fought. So I knew it was inevitably going to be this way. I thought somewhere within 9 and 10. I didn't think he'd get past 8. And I thought somewhere between 9 and 10 that he may succumb to everything that he had not been able to prepare for leading into that fight. And again, the clip that is, being shown now with him having a conversation. Dude, you don't have a conversation with somebody that's trying to hit you in your face and knock you out. You don't talk to people that are trying to, if it's a robber on the street and got a gun, are you really going to have a conversation with him? You either defending yourself or you're trying to run to get the hell out of there. So, no, this guy holding a conversation with somebody, you're trying to milk this clock, you're trying to get out of this round without fighting. No, you got to fight now. You got a fight on your hands. You don't have there's nowhere for you to go. And in the next round, he stopped him. So, I mean, you talk about AJ looking for somebody to bring the dog out of him. They need to go get a fucking dog catcher for this kid because no. Now I'm talking about boxing. I'm not talking. Because who holds a conversation? What are you looking at the clock and trying to milk every second to get out of this round, and the guy knocks you out in the next round? Come on, man. That shit. That's not boxing. There's no conversations in boxing. There's silent conversations that I break up all the time. When Sean was sparring with Caleb, he was making silent conversations, agreements, and I was like, no, don't listen to that bullshit. Don't be a part of that bullshit. He's trying to, get through this round. Silent agreement, meaning, grab a guy, hold a guy. Hey, let's just stand here. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Okay, I'll let you go. Let's do that again. That shit was going on, and I was getting on Sean's ass. Don't be a part of that bullshit. And then the talking bullshit, man. Come on. This guy is trying to make you unconscious. This is what this other person's intention is, to completely put you prone, laid out. If he can, you know, he'll deal with whatever the aspects of what happens to you. He'll deal with that shit later. But right now, he wants to knock you out, completely knock you out.
Well, going back to that logic of Caleb's resume, do the guys that Crawford has fought compare to Sean? Because you said, you know, Truax, you named off the names and you said they don't prepare you for Canelo. They're not Canelo, you know. So how do you look at Crawford's resume? Has he been prepared for a Sean Porter?
Okay, I'll pose a question to you.
I wanted that answer.
No, I'm going to give you the answer. Is Caleb Truax Jose Benavidez Jr.? No, he is not. Is Caleb Truax Kell Brook? No, he is not. Is Caleb Truax he's not Mean Machine. He's not, you know, these guys, they're not as good as the guys that Terrence Crawford has beaten to get to where he's at.
Wait, so you saying Plant not better than the dudes Terrence beat?
No. I'm saying the Uzakazis, or however you pronounce his name, are not as good as the Jose Benavidez.
Wow. So you value Terrence's resume even more than...
Of course I value his resume.
Okay.
I value his resume before those guys. I came through the amateur system with Terrence Crawford. I know Terrence Crawford personally to be a dog. You know, if Anthony Joshua was trying to really find out what a dog is, call up Terrence Crawford.
Wow.
He's a dog. I know who we're in there with. We're in there with a killer, you know, but I got a killer too, and that's what killers do.
All right. Wow. I didn't think you thought he was a killer.
No, he's a killer. No doubt about it.
All right. So I need you to explain this, right? I've been playing this little sound bite here. Let me see where I got it at. Where you at? Is this one?
Contacted Terrence 2 years ago. He didn't want to fight Sean. He was contacted a year ago. He told Sean, well, I got a couple other things going on. You know, if things don't work out, you know, I'll give you a call. He never gave us a call. He don't want this fight. It's here, but he doesn't really want it. Contacted Terrence 2 years ago. He didn't want to fight Sean. He was contacted a year ago.
Understand that.
Told Sean.
What part of it don't you understand?
I mean, because my interpretation is almost as if you're insinuating he avoided the fight. But you could just
I'm not insinuating anything. I'm saying he did avoid that fight. Do you? I put that out there. There was contact made. Can we have a discussion about making this fight?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't want no parts of that. We could have had this conversation and negotiation 2 years ago. I personally sat down with the people in the place to make the decisions on my end, face to face, and had a good 30-minute lunch discussing us fighting Terrence Crawford 2 years ago. Over 2 years.
So what happened?
We decided that we were going to go for it. We did not get the same response coming back on that end. It's very easy. You could say, we can all speculate on anything. We can speculate on anything. And everybody's personal opinions is exactly what it sounds like, someone's personal opinion. So if Terrence personally decided, Sean called him up and said, hey, man, my people have had a discussion and we would like to make a fight with you. I'm calling you because we're friends and we want to discuss it. We want to talk about the fight. His return was, hey, I got other stuff going on right now. And that's not part of it. So, you know, no, thank you. You can interpret that to whatever you want, his response to whatever you want. But on our side, I just told you, me and the people that I need to discuss it with had a serious meeting. You know that person doesn't show his face anyway. We had a face-to-face. He gave me 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes were done, we called Sean in. He sat down. We all three discussed it. We all said collectively, okay, let's go for the fight. SP asked, hey, can I make the phone call? Yes, you can make the phone call. We'll take care of the rest. You interpret or you come to your own conclusion or your own opinion about what happened on the other side of it. I stand firm and say the boy didn't want the fight. The fight is here because he got no choices. The fight was here, you know, and that doesn't mean he's not a dog. There's no fear in this kid, nothing like that. But it wasn't what he wanted. Nobody wants to fight Sean Porter. I don't give a shit what they say. Errol Spence don't want to rematch Sean Porter. We sold out the Staples Center, and we could have rematched you and would have rematched you, and you could have made more money than you made at that. But nobody. Once you jump out of that airplane at 20,000 feet and you land on the ground safely, your parachute and everything open like it's supposed to, you like, whew, I ain't never going up there again. Mm-hmm. Nobody that we've ever fought has rematched us. I've already said we beat Terrence. We're giving you your rematch, Terrence. We beat you. You get the rematch. There's none of that coming from that other side or anybody that we fought.
Now, do you believe, I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you believe that he just didn't take it at those times because he was being told there were bigger opportunities, or are you insinuating that he didn't take it because he knows it's a tough fight?
No, I said, of course he knows it's a tough fight. But what I said to you was you make your own opinion about why he didn't take it. It could have been a lot of reasons why he didn't take it. But what is the reason you didn't even have the conversation with us? Why we didn't even begin to say what the possibilities of it could have been or would have been? That's left to conjecture. Everybody's going to come up with their own opinion about that part of
it. Now,
but we asked for it.
Do you think, what do you think is the reason Terrence Crawford hasn't been in with the level, with the name of a Sean Porter, like with the names that Sean has been in, with the other welterweights or the other elites that people consider the top of the division? Why do you think that is, in your opinion? Because, again, they're billing this fight as Terrence Crawford's toughest opponent till date.
Somebody somewhere comes up with some kind of marketing scheme or ploy or design, and they think that's what's going to, sell. And I'm quite sure on their side, they were probably thinking that.
You muted. You went mute. I don't know what happened. Check the phone, maybe, because we ain't do it. Unless it's the Bluetooth died, I don't know. I hear nothing, not even background noise.
Damn. Yes, that's silent.
Damn. Maybe hang up and call back in. Same link. Try that. See if that works. All right. That was Ken Porter. Hopefully we get him back. We got
testing.
There
1, 2, 3.
There you go. He came right back.
Yeah.
This might answer your question. I found today's horoscopes for all.
So what happened to my video now?
You gotta turn the camera back on.
I'm looking for it usually shows me a little icon for the camera, but I don't see it.
It's probably your internet. Being in that gym, maybe the internet is spotty, so it's not giving you all the features. Maybe
you're right. Could be. The last question again, please.
Last question was the resume, right? Because we're saying that Caleb hasn't been in there with anybody.
Nah, that wasn't the last question. Yes.
I don't know. Producer, send me a message. He knows. He'll know. But we can definitely move on anyway. We do appreciate the time. If he texts me in time before we let you go, we'll get that last one in the proper way. But we do appreciate the time regardless, especially during your workout. Thank you. But you know what though? What do you think about, because you gave a pretty good breakdown of what happened in the Plant fight. I guess it's easier to give a prediction once the fight happens, but I do want to know, what are you predicting for Jaime Munguia, Gabriel Rosado, and I'm pretty sure Devin's gonna beat Joseph, but
no, that's not me. That's not mine.
I'm pretty sure Devin's gonna beat Joseph, but I still like to hear your opinion on that as well.
Jaime Munguia, Rosado.
Yes.
Wow. I really like to see that kid pull it off. Sean fought on some early in Sean's career. He fought on some undercards with him, and I met him when Sean was like 22, 23 years old, and we were even in the gym with him about 6 weeks ago in California for a whole week at Freddie Roach's gym. But I think Jaime Munguia is a younger, stronger guy at this point, and you know he's probably gonna pull this one out. Although I'm pulling for the other guy, you know, I really want to see him be successful where he's at right now. And then when you go to, did you ask about Haney and Diaz?
Yes.
So I was Diaz was on my world championships team. I was the technical coach for that 2012 Olympic team and that 2012 world championships team. So I had him for a whole year leading up to the Olympics. My job on that team was to give an assessment of skill level, talent level, more skill than talent, but the skill level of everybody that was on our team, everybody that we had to compete against in other countries. So do I have the ability to look at Anthony Joshua's tapes, study him, and help him? Yeah, I damn sure do. Because that was my job, man. I had so many damn DVDs of so many fighters all over the world, amateurs. If you had medal in the world championships, gold, silver, bronze. If you had medal in an Olympics, gold, silver, bronze from 2008 leading up to where we were, which was 2012. I had to study tapes on every guy in every weight class that we had competing in the world championships. And it got to the point where I hated looking at film because I was studying so many guys that I didn't do, and I didn't even know how to pronounce their names. I had to do an assessment on everybody. Those assessments are still at the Olympic Training Center. You can go into the computer, pull up a fighter, that assessment on him, if he was a boxer, if he was a puncher, if he was a pressure fighter, if he was left-handed, if he had speed, if he had slow feet. All those assessments to the right of his name were done by me. I had to do that same thing with the 2012 Olympic team. Joseph Diaz was the number 2 most complete fighter we had on the team in terms of speed, power, technique, offense, defense, footwork. Joseph Diaz was number 2. The number 1 guy, I just don't feel like he's fulfilled his potential. And you just don't know how a guy translates when he transfers over to the pros from an amateur system. You can't really predict what happens when you take that headgear off and you put on a smaller glove, how he's going to react. But Joseph was probably the most technically sound fighter we had on that team. He was. That was my assessment of him. and now he's going up against Devin. Devin is a very talented guy. I'd like to go back and take a look at JoJo's last 2 to 3 fights and give a more educated opinion about it.
Wow.
But
you need to watch tape to make an opinion, though. That's what you're saying. Is that close for you?
Yeah, it's definitely that close. See, on one hand, you got Devin, who's just a very, very talented fighter. Grew up in the gyms around all of these great fighters, the Floyd Mayweathers and people of that ilk. He also trained with the likes of Floyd Mayweather Sr. He trained with Roy Jones Jr. Hell, he trained with, I was in the gym with him probably at least a year. And by the time he was 14 years old, I was allowing him to come to camp with us and, work with us in camps. A lot of the things that he's doing now, he learned from being around us. His dad has done a great job with him. It is that close. I think he's definitely the bigger guy going into this fight. JoJo has been to the World Championships and been to the Olympics. He did those things that Devin didn't do. Devin didn't go into that division against the guys that were 21 and over. JoJo did that. And so that gives him an edge. You definitely got to give him an edge right there. But then, to make up for that, lack of that type of competition, here you have Devin sparring with Sean Porter when he's 14. So I would like to, I think that's a 50-50 right now. And if I got to lean anywhere, I'm leaning towards Devin because I feel that his size on fight night, he's grown. This kid, see, here's another thing. These guys, and I'm saying this, I don't want to be negative towards anybody, but these guys, especially fathers that turn their sons pro so young, they don't take into account the fact these kids are still growing. They're still growing. So you turn a kid pro at 16, 17, 18 years of age, and he's not done growing till he's 22 years old or something like that. He easily outgrows the weight class, and your projection for him was not where he was going to be. So it becomes a hardship, a really hard thing for him to have to deal with, that his body's growing, but he's being made to stay in this weight class. So Devin has grown and probably outgrown the weight class. So he will, make the weight and be such a big, strong guy on fight night. It may be definitely the edge that he needs. I give him the edge in this fight. If I gotta be pushed to that max, but I definitely would like to go back and look at their last 3 fights and make an educated decision. I'm definitely going to look at, Terrence Crawford's last 3 fights again and again, but I'm betting on Sean Porter. And you can text me the name of your guy. I can bet over there too. That way I won't upset the betting line over here in Vegas.
For sure.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.